Hey everyone, it's Andy here from Saving to Invest, and just want to give a quick update on what's happening with Path and when we could expect to see refunds. As always, if this information here is useful to you, please hit the like button and subscribe to keep getting more updates. So the IRS has already released dates on when they will lift the Path Act, provide statuses, and pay refunds. So generally speaking, the Path Act is for those folks who claim the earned income tax credit or the additional child tax credit. Now, the additional child tax credit is the refundable portion of the overall child tax credit, and I'll cover that in FAQs at the end of this video so you understand the difference. So if you have either of these two credits on your tax return, your refund will be held up due to Path. So once this is mandated by Congress, once it clears around mid-February, you'll get a status update. So that generally is on February 18th that you can see here. So that's when basically happens. Now again, that could happen earlier. There's definitely a good chance because the IRS is very efficient this year. So you could see it by February 15th, as a lot of folks online are saying, but February 18th is sort of the IRS expectation setting. But again, this is different to when you'll get paid, and that will actually only happen after February 20th. If your return was online, you got paid by direct deposit, or there was no issue. So Path is just one aspect of processing. Your return has to pass additional checks as well. So there's two key dates to be aware of when it comes to Path. So I'm just reiterating the two key dates for Path because I do get a lot of questions. There's a lot of confusion caused by this, right? So WMR, where's my refund? The IRS To Go mobile app, where you can see your refund status, and even your transcript should update by February 18th with your refund status, or if there's any other delays that could be causing your refund not to be paid. Again, assumes you submitted your refund in late January, early February, because it takes still some time for the IRS to process your tax return. So by Feb 18th, again, could happen sooner, could happen Feb 14th, Feb 15th, Feb 16th. You should get an update on if your refund is going to be paid. You may see the 846 code in your transcript, which will tell you a direct deposit date, but that's a date that you should get a refund status on, when your refund will be issued and or if there's additional information to be provided. Your actual payment, that means whether, and assuming you selected direct deposit, will start from February 28th, and then it'll continue on a daily or weekly basis based on your tax return in your cycle batch. So these are the two dates to keep in mind: Feb 18th, Feb 28th, status update, payment date. Two different things, but it's causing a lot of confusion. Now again, like I said, some of these may get your payment earlier, you may get your status earlier. It's happening this year, but this is what you should plan for. Some common questions that I'm seeing online and on comments on my article that goes into a lot of detail around path processing cycles and what's happened over the last few years. And I'll post a link to that in the description below. But basically, there's sort of four general questions I'm seeing, and I just want to talk about that a little bit and reiterate some of the points I've made on this and earlier videos. So a comment I get is, I keep checking my refund status knowing damn well I'm waiting for Path to lift, right? So of course, a lot of people are keen to see when they get their refund, especially if they filed their tax return earlier in the tax season. So like I said before, the IRS Path Act is officially lifts mid-February, but that just is when they will let you know the status, and the payments will happen towards the end of February. I just covered those dates: Feb 18th, Feb 28th. Those are the two dates for status and payment. So be aware of those. Now, again, definitely I expect people to get status earlier, which will potentially include a direct deposit date of their refund, which could also be earlier than the 28th. But you should expect that it's going to take from mid to end of February for all the processing and updates to happen. So don't expect it to happen. And checking your status every day on WMR, your transcript is probably not going to help unless there's something wrong with the refund processing. That's when you want to check, because the IRS is still processing refunds. They just can't release the refund if all the processing goes normal due to the Path Act, right? So there's other reasons refunds are held up and offsets are applied, and I've covered that in other videos. But just know that checking your refund status every day is not going to help, and those are the days you should work around. The other one is, how do I know you're on Path? So, like I said, tax returns are held up for many reasons. Path is just one of them. There's issues with your tax return. The IRS can't reconcile what you've submitted. Your identity has to be checked. That could hold up your refund payment. So if if your refund is held up to Path, you will see the message that I showed earlier in this video that will say your refund cannot be made due to Path Act being lifted in late February. So that's how you know you're on path. And the other big, by the way, is if you claimed the earned income tax credit or the additional child tax credit, that's the $1,500 refundable part of the child tax credit, your return will be held up for path. Now, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, I got paid even though I had the child tax credit." That's not true. It's only if you had the additional child tax credit, not just the regular child tax credit. But that's how you know you're on path. You'll be told on WMR that your refund payment is held up due to path, or if you claim these returns. If you claim these returns and you got it early, then you probably were never on path in the first place. The other one is path hasn't lifted, but I still get audited. So what's happening is, because the whole point of path is to check people's submissions, verify their identity, make sure what they claim is correct, they haven't claimed it for other dependents. That's the whole point of path. So if the IRS finds issues with your earned income tax credit or your additional child tax credit, they will contact you for additional information, potentially to verify identity, because there is a lot of fraud around these credits. So you may find that you've submitted it, there's nothing, and suddenly you'll see audit codes like 420, 424 in your transcript. Your WMR will show that they've sent you a letter and you need to provide more information. So that could definitely happen, and that will delay even the February payment of your path held up refund, because then IRS has to do additional checks to make sure that you are who you are and you can claim those credits that you're claiming. So this may happen, and you should definitely be aware of this and quickly respond to any IRS letters and notices, and they will come from the IRS. Don't there's a lot of scams around these things that people will call you. It'll be an official IRS notice that'll provide a procedure to verify your identity and make sure what you're claiming is correct. And this is something you'll probably see if you were audited, or you have to do some additional verifications. You'll get one of these letters, 5071C, 5447C, or a 6331C in the mail, and then you'll have to go through the verification process based on your past year tax returns. If you're not submitted in the past, you'll have to basically call a number, but this will probably add about 8 to 10 weeks to your refund payment as well. So this is something that's above and beyond path, but I know a lot of people get worried. Path is specifically for these two credits, and that could trigger other actions as well that are listed here. But remember, again, check your WMR, check your transcript, but don't expect like every hour to go check it. It's going to change. The IRS normally updates transcripts every day, but the bulk updates happen on Tuesdays and Fridays. So don't expect that it's going to change soon, but be aware of the dates. Go to the IRS page. I'll post a link to the site with a lot more information, and I'll keep posting updates on my YouTube channel and Twitter and on the website savingtoinvest.com. As always, if this information was useful to you, hit the like button, and please subscribe to getting more videos like this throughout tax season.